Inside Out 2 did not disappoint. I want to get straight into the premise of the film and why I think they did a great job introducing these new complex emotion in a way that is palatable for both kids and adult. In Inside Out 2, we learn that Riley is almost getting out of middle school. She's about to hit puberty, but she's thriving, right? Riley is in hockey. She has hockey with her two best friends. She is doing very well in the team to the point that their coach invite them to go to a summer camp to test out for the high school team. But doing that, Riley learns that her friends might not end up in the same high school with her next year, so she has to do her best to make sure the new kids on the team like her as well. Joy explains to us that Riley's core belief is that she is a good person. This film did a great job of introducing the concept of core belief to those who don't understand what that is. Core belief comes from cognitive behavioral therapy, right? In cognitive behavioral therapy, also known as CBT, what we understand is that our thoughts impacts our emotions and feelings, which impacts our behavior. That with alongside our memories of our past and the way people perceive us forms our core belief. Because Riley was kind to her friend Grace when she was new in class, because Riley made sure everybody felt comfortable and everybody had a chance to play on the team, Joy explains that Riley has a core belief that she's a good person, right? But that all changes when Riley hits puberty and a new members of the emotions are introduced. New members such as anxiety, ennui, also known as Mr. Boredom, embarrassment, envy, and then a little bit of nostalgia, but it was not nostalgia time yet, right? So we learn having these new complex emotions in the same space as Riley's primary emotions, joy, sadness, disgust, and fear, is gonna cause a new dynamic for Riley in how she performs her sense of self. Knowing that Riley might not end up with her friends who are in high school with who are in middle school with her, she has to make new friends while adjusting, while going through this hormonal change. It came with a lot of pressure and anxiety took on the role to plan ahead for Riley so Riley can succeed. Prior to that, Joy was the one on the keyboard planning for how Riley moves in life, right? So having your core emotions being led by Joy versus having your core emotions being led by anxiety is very different. Anxiety is a planner ahead, but also that means it's going to keep Riley up at night because she does not have time to relax, to refresh for the next day. So her performance is not going to be in tune when anxiety is at the core of the masterboard, right? So we learn that Riley's core value changes when anxiety is present to her not being enough compared to her feeling like she was enough when Joy was on the keyboard. But what I love how this film show core beliefs is having one fixed core belief isn't always the best thing either. The film did a great job of showing that our emotions can be extremely complex and daunting, but over time they can work in harmony with each other. Anxiety isn't always a bad thing. Having joy isn't always a good thing. You need all these complex emotions to show up when it's needed at the right time, or else it can throw off the performance of self. So, how this film make us understand core beliefs is with anxiety being the master of the keyboard, anxiety wears Riley out. Anxiety is having Riley stay up at night to plan in her head, basically ruminate. Anxiety is so fear based, and envy is actually her psychic. That envy is also seeing certain things that Riley lack and wants Riley to go outside of herself to figure it out. I don't want to spoil the film, but Riley has to go outside of herself and break certain rules she had for herself in her morals to make sure she's matching up. Because having that core belief that you're not enough when you had a core belief in the past that you're a good person is extremely drastic. Having a core belief that you are not enough means you lack something, and that means you have to perform outside of yourself to show others that you are not lacking. And that's exactly what Riley did. And where I really want to tie this into is my last video on the idea of self compassion versus self esteem. When Riley had a core belief that she was good enough. She had compassion for herself and she had compassion for her peers on the team. And that's why she was able to have a healthy relationship with her friends, right? But when Riley had a core belief that she was not enough, it was based off her performance. And while she's in summer camp for hockey, now she has to go outside of herself. Self-esteem, she has to use her esteem, her ability to show that she can be enough, thus performing at a rate that is such detriment because she is now lacking sleep. She is now practicing before and after the real practice. She is now having to sneak off and make other choices that's not benefit to her because she wants to look and feel good about herself. But when she was on the other end performing based off the core belief that she is enough, that was not an issue. And that's why it's so important early on to teach kids to have compassion for themselves, to understand their own humanity, their own reality, and other circumstances that can hinder certain performance. Because with grace, they're able to actually bounce back from certain failures quicker than if they have to go outside themselves, which will cause more burnout, which can cause just more anxiety and panic attacks. But this film did a great job. I would say it was definitely a 10 out of 10.